I hate seeing you like this, so I'm flexing my eyes real hard to keep from crying. It's okay. We can still have a normal conversation. So, how's the food?
The Cyclops will drown you in your overwatered lawns.
Oh, David. Could be worse. You guys could be a total power failure.
Eat glass.
It's the Al Travis Show. We'd lucky to have our next guest, and he is Senator Eric Lucero, and it's our first time having him on the program. I appreciate him coming on. Sir, thank you very much for being here.
It's a true honor. Thank you for the opportunity to join, for sure.
No, it is ours. Let's get to know you a little bit, because first off, most of us don't have a clue where 30 is. You're the senator for District 30. Where is District 30?
So I have been in the legislature for next year. I'll be going into my 12th year. I served 8 years in the House, and I'm now in my first term in the Senate. So this is in the House. It was Eastern Wright County, so St. Michael, Albertville, Otsego, Hanover area, and then now as a Senate, it actually spans 4 counties to also include a portion of Hennepin County, and then Elk River in Sherburne County, and then Nowthen and Oak Grove in Anoka County.
All right, fair enough. History, I mean, you mentioned you were in the House from for four hits, so 8 years
terms,
there. Yep. What did you do for work to get there? How did you get involved? Why are you doing this, sir? Because I've always told people, you don't do this for the money and the fame.
So, 100%. There, as I have said for many years, there is no money in politics if you're honest. And so this is a true sacrifice, and that is indeed what it is. So I got involved. I would say my interest in politics was back when I was a truck driver. So I drove a truck for 6 years back when I was newly married, so late 90s, early 2000s. And when driving third shift, there's nothing on the radio back then except for talk radio when you're driving. So it was Art Bell overnights. And
just to clarify, I think some women might have had a bit of a problem right there. You said it was when you were newly married, and it was the late 1990s or early 2000s. Do you not know when you got married, sir? Is this a vague reference to the years you could have been? Did you?
It's funny you say that. We're approaching our 28th wedding anniversary, so it was 1997. I was a truck driver starting in the late 90s, and then
it's where you put the comma in that sentence, then, sir. That's where the comma needed to go, because it sounded like, I don't know, I was married late 90s, early.
Exactly.
Okay, 97, fantastic. So you're doing that, and you're listening to talk radio, and that spurns your, I presume, Rush Limbaugh.
Yeah, it was Rush Limbaugh, believe it or not, Dr. Laura Schlesinger.
Okay.
I got introduced to Jason Lewis at the time, and Jason Lewis, who was a big personality back then. I learned all the things about free markets, about Constitution, about individual liberty, God-given rights, all the things that were never taught when I was in high school as a product of public education. And that, listening to what the history of humanity, the magnificence of our Constitution, the reality of our God-given rights codified then in the Bill of Rights, and then comparing that to reality and where we're going as a society. And so back when I was in my 20s, I became very impassioned for standing up for the truth. And so that was my catalyst for wanting to get involved. And ever since then, I've just been, continuing to learn and grow as I was going through school and going through life, down life's path, again, newly married, learning all the aspects of life, and then formalizing that when I ran for city council and I won, then ran for the Minnesota House, and then the privilege of running for the Senate.
All right, fair enough. You have a wife. Do you have children?
Do not have children. The Lord never opened up that door, but it definitely it's nevertheless, life is still a blessing.
And are you absolutely? Are you a full-time senator now? Did you give up the trucking? What do you do on the side? I mean, what's your side hustle?
Yeah, no way. No, I am not a professional legislator. No way. I was a truck driver when I was putting myself through school, and so my primary profession is cybersecurity. So what I've been doing for over 20 years now is threat management, vulnerability management, intrusion detection, computer forensics. Again, just everything cybersecurity. In addition to that, my wife and I are both real estate agents. I'm a general contractor, and we are heavily involved in real estate.
All right, so fair enough to say it isn't just a Senate's gig. Good for you. All right. On that line, though, side question. We seen Senator Jensen in the race for governor. Kendall Qualls, who has run for governor, we know his name. Representative Kristen Robbins got in. I'm not going to get everybody here, but these are the big players in my book. Kristen Robbins gets in because she run that fraud committee in the House side, which I think is the governor's biggest chink in his armor is the fraud. But now, as of yesterday, Representative and Speaker of the House Demuth gets involved. I personally was concerned we were a little light as far as Republicans go and who's in. I'm liking this more and more. I think this is getting well-rounded. I think you're going to have some real opportunities for these people to sharpen each other up.
Yes.
Your thoughts on the group as I laid it out, and do you know if anybody else is getting in?
I fully agree with you. So I do not know if anybody else is getting in. I can't answer that.
Okay.
But in terms of your evaluation, I'm in full agreement. The more people, the merrier. This is the arena of ideas. And when we get in there and iron sharpens iron, and we're all going to have a good, healthy conversation as the endorsement battle continues. But in my opinion, whoever emerges as the endorsed candidate is the one that we need to rally behind, and may the best person win. So these are all, everybody you listed there, they're all friends. They're all good people. They're all going to be a good challenger to Walz. But in my opinion, we cannot drag this out through the entire summer going to a primary. We need to rally behind whoever emerges.
You tripped into that because you brought it up, but there are some of those that are saying they would consider going all the way to primary with this. How much does that hurt or help? I guess some people think it's helped. How much does that help or hurt if we just don't get to an endorsement, be endorsed, let's move on? How much does that hurt?
It hurts significantly because the endorsement is going to be approximately the May timeframe. The primary is not until the mid to late August timeframe. And so we will spend the entire summer directing our energy, our focus, volunteer time, and money at each other. And then from the time of the primary, which again, mid to late August until November, that only leaves, 10 or so weeks that we can direct our energies at the other side. And that puts us at a disadvantage year or cycle after cycle in these statewide races, for sure. So that is anybody who is going to run for the endorsement should abide by the endorsement.
Okay, that's fair enough. I love that attitude. Now let me throw this at you. When you read the articles this weekend about Demuth getting involved and that she wants to run, you then read down 3 lines later, going to be kind of tough. She's Speaker of the House. Can she do too with the caucus being what the caucus is? And I'm thinking to myself, wait a minute, Christian, and I'm not just necessarily sticking up for her, but yeah, it will be harder if you didn't if she was unemployed and doing nothing, that'd be the easiest gig. That's not how this works. She's the Speaker of the House. It will be harder. But Kristen Robbins has currently the head of the fraud conference. She's got a job to do. That will be hard for her. And they don't mention anything about, well, wait a minute, the governor's running and he's got to govern an entire state.
Exactly.
It's not even fair, in my opinion, the way they write that up, that this is going to be very hard for them. Like somehow they should have thought of that before they got in. Am I wrong here? I mean, everybody in this thing's got something else they're doing.
Well, you're spot on. Anybody who's running for office needs name recognition. Name recognition comes by being a current office holder, generally speaking. And if you're a current office holder, you're either running for re-election or you're running for election for another office. In either capacity, we are all fully capable of multitasking and doing it both at once, running a campaign and faithfully serving the office that we're currently in.
All right, fair enough. All right, thank you for that. I'm very happy to have you on, Senator. Please hang with me for 2 minutes here. On the other side of the break, I'd really like to get into, I was about as fuming mad as I could get last week when the governor decided to shut down 14 more Medicaid programs we have, because he's pretty sure there's fraud going on in all of them. We'll find out. We'll talk about that after this with Senator Eric Lucero on the Al Travis Show.
You need a friend at the Capitol who knows how to get things done.
And you're in luck, because that's exactly who we are, your friends at the Capitol, and we deliver results.
At Momentum Advocacy, we bring decades of experience in lobbying, public affairs, and crisis communications.
From local nonprofits to national corporations, we help you move policy, manage your media, and make your voice heard.
We're not just seasoned pros, we're essential partners.
Momentum Advocacy, your friends at the Capitol. Learn more at momentum-advocacy.com.
Think about it. A famous politician once said, "You're entitled to your opinion, but but you are not entitled to your own facts. But in a world full of AI and fake news, where can Minnesotans find the facts? Center of the American Experiment is Minnesota's go-to source for fact-based analysis and common sense solutions for taxes, energy, public safety, and our kids' education. Visit AmericanExperiment.org for more information. Think About It is brought to you by Center of the American Experiment, Minnesota's think tank.
Every year, countless lives are lost to suicide, but it doesn't have to be this way. There's hope and there's help. SAVE, Suicide Awareness Voices of Education, is working to prevent suicide through education, training, advocacy, and support for suicide loss survivors. SAVE, Suicide Awareness Voices of Education, wants you to know that you can save a life. Save.org.
It's nice to know a guy that knows a guy. Al Travis.
Getting to know him, he's Senator Eric Lucero, and I appreciate him very much coming on the program. Sir, I've been mad and been talking about this on the show forever. The constant drip. I call it the Chinese torture test. Remember when your big brother would just thump you on the head right in the center of your forehead for an hour until you're like, you're just ready to go nuts?
I don't remember that because I am the big brother.
Okay.
I'm the oldest of my siblings. I was the perpetrator.
Okay, then you know what I'm talking about. It'll drive somebody crazy. And the drip, that of fraud going out of Minnesota, I think most of my friends are just tired of even talking about it. The governor comes on Tom Hauser's show. Tom says, is there going to be some more of this, sir? And he goes, maybe. These guys are professional. Plays it off like, how would I know? 3 days later, he closes down 14 more Medicaid programs that they all say, and I got it here, flag the programs as high risk based on evidence of fraudulent activity, program vulnerabilities, claim anomalies, and other outlying factors.
Yes.
That didn't happen in 3 days, sir. He knew full well this was going on. DHS knew this was going on. And all of a sudden, it's like, now we're supposed to say, well, thank God they're involved now. They're taking care of business. Is that what I'm supposed to believe?
That's what he is trying to perpetrate. And the reality is, the way that state government is set up, there's multiple agencies, and each agency in state government has a commissioner that works at the pleasure of Governor Walz. Governor Walz appoints each individual commissioner over these various state agencies. The legislature, during the time that Democrats had single party control and beyond, so not just the last 2 years or 3 years, but for a number of years, Governor Walz is going to be approaching his 8th year in office. And prior to that, then he had Governor Dayton for 8 years. The legislature appropriates these monies to the various agencies in the forms of grants. And they can go to the Department of Human Services. They can go to the Department of Education. There are other state agencies that these large buckets of money go to. Then we task the state agencies to administer these grant programs, having applications come in, vetting them, and then dispersing money as appropriate. Unfortunately, what's happened is with this large budget surplus that we had a couple years ago, they were just throwing money out there to these state agencies. And so Governor Walz, they deliberately appropriated this money with lack of controls, lack of oversight, lack of fiduciary responsibility, which directly resulted in fraud. Governor Walz knew this, and the steps that he's taking now is simply for show because he knows he's going to be up against the truth when he's running for his 3rd term.
Yeah, I love that you make this sound like this. Here's what the Department of Human Services temporary commissioner Gandhi said. Criminals and the various schemes that they've concocted to defraud our medical programs have become more sophisticated, and it's time for Minnesota to catch up. Sir, they make it sound like, I don't know, the mafia came in with some sort of way of, messing with the slot machines. If I'm not mistaken, when it came to feeding our futures, they said, oh, we say we fed 1,000 kids this month. They paid us. We say we fed 4,000 kids next month. They still paid us. The idea was just making up names. It's the same with all of these. When the U.S. Attorney General comes in and says the housing stability thing was 100% fraud, you walk up, what did you have to do? Al, no experience, no nothing, could walk up and say, I talked to homeless guys today. I get $75 an hour, more than my lawyer makes, by the way. He's cheap, I get it. Right. But my point, and you didn't have to get the person out of homelessness anywhere. It was just tell us you did it. This isn't coming up with a brilliant scheme. This is saying, if you want the money, come get it. I don't think these people should be thrown in jail. They just did what, it's so easy to steal from us. There's no accountability.
That's right. No, it's lack of controls, lack of being proactive. We had multiple attempts, whether it be in committee or on the floor, of trying to enact just common sense, basic standards of controls. And if they don't need a single additional law, they don't need a single additional review or a third-party audit, they have the tools, they have the necessary ability to stop the fraud. What they're lacking is an interest in protecting taxpayer dollar. Now, there was one thing, so I'm a member of the Education Finance Committee.
All right.
And so one of the proposals was an office of an independent office of investigation and for the various agencies. And so this bill was going through the various committees because it would have had oversight over every agency, right?
Yep.
Well, when it came to the Education Committee, the commissioner then of the Department of Education came in, and this, acting at the behest of Governor Walz, actively opposed the bill. It was that very morning when I was on my way into committee that Congressman Emmer released a statement that said there are over 60 active federal investigations against the Walz administration for fraud. And so when that morning, when Emmer released that, I brought that forward in the committee. I went after the commissioner because he was actively opposing the bill. They do not care about the fraud that's being just out of control and squandered.
The story before, and this goes to the same thing, evidently there are people, the outgoing office legislative assistant wrote this letter to the editor saying that we'd have our OLA do the work. We'd come up with where we're seeing fraud. We'd actually then say, here's how we think we can fix it. And the head of those committees literally said, we're not going to have that heard on the floor. How is that flipping possible, sir? How is it possible that I pay OLA to come up with this stuff and then we won't even listen to it because guess what? It might make us look bad.
That's exactly. It's the Office of the Legislative Auditor. The gentleman who is now retired top-notch reputation. I have no idea where he stood or stands politically, but he has the utmost integrity and respect from everybody in the legislature. His office would come forward with these various audits of multiple agencies, and the conclusions, the recommendations for improvement would all just be cast aside. You're asking me, how does that happen? It's because there's a greater loyalty to the Democrat money laundering machine via taxpayer dollar than there is to truth and upholding integrity of the taxpayer dollar. That's why it happens.
Well, you just ticked me off, so thanks for that at the end of my day. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Sir, we are out of time, but I want to say thank you for you coming on and sharing your stuff. If you're okay, can I put you on the short list? I got your phone number now. I'd love to get you back on. I really do appreciate you, sir. I appreciate you taking the time today.
I would love to do it, and thank you for the opportunity.
No, it's our pleasure. Senator Eric Lucero on the Al Travis Show.